know that you can hear me. I might start a minute or two early. Chantal, let me know when the stream starts. Never mind. Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm going to start just a couple of minutes early. I want to just see the NQ open. My name is Lee Goldstein, Trading Director for 10-Minute Trades. Remember that all the trades we discuss for educational purposes, so trade carefully, please. So NQ right now is up. Gold is down big time. Oil is down big time. So just for fun, I wasn't really even planning on looking at the NQ this morning, the open. I think the NQ open is the hardest. I look at three opens: NQ, CL, GC. NQ is the hardest, no question, because you could have a million indicators. You just never know what direction it's really going to go. You don't know. Now you can wait. You don't have to jump in the first second. You can wait, but I want to be done trading in just a couple of minutes. I don't want to be hanging around past 9:39. So I have a test set up. I enter immediately. I use the one-click range. And I've got a stop of 40 and a target of 15 and 60. And it doesn't matter any other settings because I'm entering immediately. So all I need are positions, how many contracts, and how many targets, right? So you have two contracts, two targets. I'm going to use a first target of 19 this morning. Second is 60. Stop is 40. And like I said, I was not prepared to do this. I'm really not. You don't want to really trade. You don't want to trade live if you're not prepared to do something, right? So I'm just testing right now. It's made a lot of new highs. Is it going to fill the gap, shoot down? You don't know. So I'm just going to do this, look at it for a couple of minutes, see if I think there's an entry opportunity that I might take. Market's open. My gut feeling is down, just to fill some of the gap. But getting along, I'll probably pass this morning just because we have other stuff to do. So I don't want to be distracted. It's not really bursting. You have a whippy candle, a whipsaw candle. So I don't rush. I wouldn't jump in at the first sign of a possible move. See, I think it's going to go down. I think the up was a fake. But I would, like I said, we have something else going on this morning, so I'm distracted. So I think it's choppy. You might get that first target. So if I get my first target, I'm going to move my stop, and it stopped me out because I protected that first profit. Okay. Now, sometimes I might take a second trade, but the way it's chopping around this morning, I would be probably happy. Oof. It looks like it wants to go down. It really does. But It's going down. So if I could get one more target, I'd be really happy, but I think it's going to reverse and kill me. All right, let's go on to what we're really here for. You got to be so careful on the opens, especially when it's chopping around like it's chopping around today. It may want to go make that new high. You never know. You never know. All right, we're actually going to be watching the NQ for JOLTS. Let's talk a little bit about JOLTS. That's the real reason we're here. Now, the JOLTS has been a report. I've looked at JOLTS for it's probably about maybe a 3-year-old report. It's not a very old report. Obviously, when it first came out, there was zero interest. When a report's new, there's no interest. So we did a whole lot of testing. NQ is the toughest. NQ is the toughest. I'm just noticing what people are saying, and you don't want to do it the way I did it this morning as a fool around. If you're going to do it, you really want to do it seriously. You want to. I like to do it as part of I call it the open trifecta. I get up early and I turn my charts on. Probably about the best I think is about 7:45, 7:30, 7:45. Prepare for the gold open at 8:20. And then I stay active in the gold open at least until 8:30, maybe even a little bit longer, because sometimes there's a gigantic move after the open, way after the open. Then I like to get ready for the oil open, and then I stay. So you're watching your charts from 7:45 to about 9:45. It's 2 hours, and it is appointment based trading. You're starting at appointment based trading at the open time, but you want to leave yourself a little bit of flexibility for a gigantic move before and gigantic moves after. So we're going to talk about this more because I'm going to have more trade rooms with the opens. And then we'll really talk about the techniques and indicators, etc., things that'll help make it easier to do. Today, the gold open was at the moment of the open, it was nowhere near as dramatic as after the open. And then oil had incredible drama quite a bit before the open. The open itself was slow, and after the open was dramatic. So if you just look at the open and run away, you might miss some great dramatic moves. So if the oil's open at 9, I'd keep looking probably at least until 9:10, at least 10, 12 minutes after. Because today, I mean, oil is absolutely insane today. Now we're going to stay here through the oil trade, right? Through the oil inventories. So we'll talk about oil in a little bit. On YouTube, I want to thank everyone for watching. We will be done after JOLTS. So JOLTS is a type of, let's see if we could define JOLTS because we've never defined it really. So let's go over to Forex Factory, right? Click on the file folder. So it's a Bureau of Labor Statistics report, okay? Number of job openings during the reported month, not counting farming. So you'd think it would be a monster important report, but you know why it isn't? Is because there's other jobs reports that are much more important. The Friday non-farm employment is the traditional jobs report that people pay tremendous attention to, and JOLTS has been totally inconsistent since it became since the inception of the report. I'm thinking it's at least 3 years old, this report. It might not be that long, but it's it's definitely a young report as far as reports go. There might actually be a way to tell. There was a website, fasteconomicnews.com. They used to do a great calendar every week. For whatever reason, he stopped doing it January 9th is his last week. Let me see. Yeah, January 9th was his last week. Not sure why. I don't know. I have no idea why. We'll just leave it at that. So the last JOLTS report, so I'm just playing a silly game. I'm trying to see if we can figure out when did JOLTS become a report? So let me just look at when last month's report was. So last month was February 1st, and before that it was January 4th. So we know he has a calendar January 4th. So Fast Economic News, I go to calendar.com. It's a Forex site, but he used to have great calendars. So what did we say, January 4th? Here's his calendar. There's January 4th. Go to JOLTS. If you just click on JOLTS, he lists all the previous JOLTS reports. So how far back do they go? Maybe further than I thought. Yeah, you know what? It's an older report than I thought. Maybe it wasn't reported back in 2015. Now they're saying that maybe it started in 2015, but I think when this report first came out, no one even looked at it. It might not have even been barely on the calendars. So it's older than I thought. Its impact has always been inconsistent. We've had breakout setups, we've had trap trade setups. So, but I have a theory. I have a theory that the current markets are working pretty well with trap trades because of in gold, with gold. With gold. Let me fix my news. So I have a test set up on the trap trade, and I have a one contract live test, which makes me nervous. And I'll explain that. So there's JOLTS. Okay, so I was just listening to something. So what I was saying, I think that gold and trap trades in the current market environment have a possibility to work. So let's record this, and then I'll talk to you about the testing that we've done. And we've tested the trap trade. Do not trade it live. It hasn't tested well. But so I'm thinking very short term, it might be good. Very short term. Long term, it hasn't been working well as a setup that we want to use or even try live. And I'll confirm that. My own personal testing on JOLTS, very inconsistent with the trap trade. But I think these markets, as shown with the ISM reports, have been prone to reverse. So I'm choosing trap trade version 3, and I'm doing a strange setup. So the time of the event, trade time, entry time, whatever yours says, time of event, it's 10 o'clock. And then below it, your trap trade might say prep seconds, preparation order seconds, 5 seconds. 5 seconds before 10 o'clock, my orders show up on the chart. That's what that means. Okay? That's what that means. My tiers, my order size, my brackets, 10 and 18. 10 and 18. My stop is 15. And that's my jolt setup. One tier of 10 ticks. Now, if you notice the NQ open, this was not the best NQ open. It really didn't find a direction one way or the other. It's been up and down. So back to the jolts, the gold trap, tier of 10, tier of 18. Trade time, time of event is 10 o'clock Eastern. Prep activation, 5 seconds. Stop, 15. That's my test. And it's just a test. And what it means is 5 seconds before the news releases, my orders will show up on the chart. Now, we've been testing a range trade. Testing the range trade on JOLTS was pretty interesting. But trading the NQ at 10 o'clock, I think, is challenged. I think it's hard. So I don't want to risk. You don't have to risk multiple contracts to see if your testing is good. We can just trade one contract and see if it works. So the range that we've been using, I'll just show you one. I did some testing of our testing. So we have a range trade set up. This is the time it's February 1st. There's the range. It's a short range. It's only 4 seconds. And it just shoots down in one direction on the NQ. So that would have been good. Now, January 4th, I had multiple results. My first result, it stopped me out. And then every other time I tested it, it worked. And that can happen when there's slippage or whipping at the time of the news, so that you don't always get a guaranteed test when you're not live. That's something you need to realize, that sometimes if you're not live, your testing can have a flaw. Slippage is not calculated properly in sim. So I do want to thank Ed, I sent you a long email. Hang on, folks. Ed, check your email. I sent you a long email how to get into the room, Ed. And I sent you the schedule. I sent it like an hour ago. Ed, so check your email. All you have to do is log into the website, Ed. Log into the user website. And if you're on YouTube, folks, why not give us a like? Ed, here's where you log in and choose trade room. And you should be able to get in here before the trade. All right, so we have a trap trade set up on one side, and then the range set up. So I'm just going to trade one contract. And it's not a family money trade. So it goes in the non-family money account. It's not even close. So we're using a range, and the range trade, choose the regular software. And our ticks above and below is 10. Okay, ticks above the range, ticks below the range, both are 10. Graphic shown on chart is a yes. That draws the range. I like my range purple. Then you have a range start time, 9, 59, 58. 9:59, 58. And then you have an activation entry time, 10, 00, 02. Choose range trade, trade type, range trade. Okay. Now remember I said I'm just going to trade one contract. And I'm going to use a 50 tick target. Okay. My stop is 35. My stop is 35. Now, so what can happen with the NQ? The NQ can move and then reverse pretty fast. So you just got to be aware. If it doesn't hit your target, you might want to jump out of the trade if you have a profit. So be prepared to move your stop. Okay. Or your target if you feel necessary. It's always better to move the stop because your target might still get hit if you don't move it, which would give you a bigger profit. Sometimes you just move the stop. Good morning, Jody. All right. So one more time, I'll go over the whole range setup. Ticks above the range, 10. Ticks below the range, 10. Graphics shown on chart gets checked. Range start time, Eastern time, 9:59:58. I'm just trading one position for a 50 tick target with a 35 tick stop. Chantal's testing called for a 25 tick stop. I'm increasing it because we're only trading one contract. The markets are volatile. Hey, bear with me, folks. Okay, sorry. Um, One position, 50 tick target, 38 tick stop. All right. 38 tick stop. Entry time, range start time, 9:59:58. Activation time, 10:00:02. Trading one real contract. Okay. Let's check our time sync. Time sync. So don't forget, folks on YouTube, if you're watching, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know the next time we're going to be streaming. We stream at least 3 times a week, live trades. We're going to check our time sync because we're trading on a specific, very specific time. So I'm going to go to time.is. When you go to the website time.is, it puts our computer in sync. So I have two different setups. I'm not going to pay attention to the trap trade at all because that's not live. All right. And usually a trap trade takes time. I'm going to pay attention to the NQ range trade, and it makes me range trades on the NQ are at this time of day, especially 10 o'clock is a tricky time, I think, to trade the NQ because a variety of things happen, I believe, at 10 o'clock. I believe that there's a move in the indexes, NQES, just because it's 10 o'clock. And there's a lot of traders that trade 30-minute breakouts after the market opens, 9:30 to 10. And you just see it. You see lots of moves, even when there isn't news. So we'll see how that plays out. What day is it? Today's Wednesday, right? Yep. So this report is at 10 o'clock. And a lot of people on YouTube. So thanks for joining with us. Our YouTube channel is getting bigger and bigger. So that's pretty good. I love YouTube. I watch tons of influencers, YouTube influencers, unbelievable amount of incredible music on YouTube, music videos. If you have a favorite artist, you can do an incredibly deep dive on YouTube that you wouldn't believe the videos that are available. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So I'm a YouTube lover. YouTube is my favorite social media site. My second favorite site is Twitter. My least favorite site is Facebook. And then the two other big ones. I'm not much of an Instagram person. I need to use Instagram more and learn about it. I don't know enough about Instagram. And then TikTok, you know, what can you say about TikTok? Everybody's on it. I'm not one of those people addicted to TikTok videos. I don't like go to bed at night and then start watching TikTok videos and realize it's 4 in the morning and that's all I did for the past 6 hours. But I have a hard time with this whole concept of influencers. It's a troubling concept in many cases, not all. Anybody out there? So I'm talking, but I don't, not a single person is saying a single thing. Is anybody alive out there? Tell me you're alive, at least. Are you alive? This is not a rant, Mark. I would not call this a rant, right? It's not a rant. It's completely random thoughts while we wait for the news. So we have a trade set up. You know, it's not a whole heck of a lot you can do. I've gone over the setting multiple times. We've got two, a trap trade on the right, and my perspective on social media. So I call it a decrepit old man's perspective on social media. I mean, you know, I think we should just turn the internet off, right? Just click a button, internet off. Turn it on right before the trades, and then turn it off again. That's what I would do. I remember when the internet started. I remember mail order. I had a mail order company. That word doesn't even, I think if you ask a 20-year-old what's mail order, they'll look at you like you're from another planet. What is mail order? Mail order bride is probably the thing that comes to mind, right? That still exists, I suppose, somewhere. Now I do remember the drives, Mark. I remember I remember legacy electronics. All right, let's watch the market. Legacy electronics. I love legacy electronics. So after this report, we're going to stay. Jody, I don't know what you're laughing at. That I love legacy electronics or that I love mail order. Mail order was so much fun. All right, let's watch. So I've only got, so that's my trap trade. So I don't like the response. So I can't cancel. I cannot cancel the trade. It's going to stop me out. So it filled and went to the opposite side. The range did not work even slightly. I was going to cancel. But look at the trap. I believe that I'm right about random trades with traps. This trap trade is a worker. Easy winner. Easy winner. I think JOLTS. I think this current market, I'm more willing to put a trap trade on than a range at 10 o'clock. I just don't think ranges work at 10 o'clock. Even though they test well, they're not showing that they're working with great regularity. But the range, let's look at the video. Let's look at the video. I want to put my charts on normal. Let's look at the video. Let's see if it was a real fill. That's what I want to see. If it was an honest, real fill. Would it have worked? So you've got JOLTS. I know people that did the mail order bride thing. It was crazy. Yeah, and they take you to the bank usually, right? That's the truth. So the idea of a trap trade is you want to see your orders on top of the market are sell orders. Your orders below the current market price are buy orders. Okay. So the news comes out and it fills immediately. It was definitely a good fill. It was definitely a good fill. The market was trending down anyway because gold's trending down so strongly today. And it fills just one, it only fills one target. Okay. It doesn't get both. It doesn't get both of them. So you've got to stop. It filled one tier and your other tier is still there. Okay. So when it hits this tier, the one above, the trade's going to be over. I didn't have to combine my targets, but we have software. The software has a protection that if you do combine the targets, it'll still take you out of the trade. It didn't put me back in. But you're supposed to cancel the outer tier. If your outer tier doesn't fill, there's a cancel button. Cancel outer tier right there. But that trap trade looks good. So I want to thank everybody on YouTube for watching. Everybody on YouTube, thanks for watching. We're going to shut down our YouTube stream. Ed, make sure you can get into the room. Ed, I hope you can, because we're going to shut down YouTube and we're staying in the room. So I want to thank everybody for watching on YouTube. Thanks for watching with us. And I'll see everybody tomorrow on YouTube. Tomorrow on YouTube. Okay? We'll see you tomorrow.